Our political panel, political consultant Shermichael, Singleton, Scott Bolden, former chair of the DNC Democratic Party. You're shaking your head.
Already, Leland. I mean, that whole piece smacks of ageism, if you will.
Against who?
Against the president, Biden. Every president, whether Republican or Democrat, as far back as I can remember, and I'm 60 years old, and I use notes too, has used notes or cheat sheets. It's to get it right. It's not because they can't remember.
It doesn't. Look, he can have as many cheat sheets as he wants. The issue is not. Maybe you didn't listen. I didn't say it was
similar to the question,
right.
Leland. A cheat sheet is semiconductors. What are they? Where are they?
There's some very talented people at the White House.
They just guessed.
Really? They guessed.
Just guessed.
They're very talented. What are you going to do? I mean, a clock is right once a day.
I mean, look, Leland. If you look at most polling data, you have to acknowledge this, Scott. Many Americans, including Democrats, are concerned about the age of the president. And I'm not trying to be ageist here, Leland, but the reality is every individual ages differently. President Biden oftentimes makes gaffes on stage. He forgets where he is. And that does signal to the American people that perhaps the president isn't as mentally sharp as he once was. And that's a legitimate conversation that we should have.
Well, you can have a legitimate conversation about gaffes, if you will, but it doesn't mean that he's not mentally acute. It means that he may have some age with him, but he's one of the most effective legislative presidents we've had in the history of this country.
Neither of you guys are beating up on the easiest person in the room. You're beating up on each other. I'm supposed to be the butt of the joke. I'm the press here. Okay? No, look, this is what I don't get. Okay, mind reading, I know that the White House press office is sharp. There's some good people there. I know them. Mind reading might be a little bit far from them. Right. What I'm worried about, this is my question. During the Trump administration, Democrats made a huge point that the press was the last protector of our freedoms. And I happen to believe that, even though the press has a horrible approval rating. If the White House press corps is going to be this sycophantic, okay, that's not really a good thing for our democracy, is it?
Well, I don't think it's a good thing for the democracy if they are, but I didn't see that press conference being symphotic at all. I mean, there were some questions about his age. Was he too old to run? The polling and what have you. Now, they may have gotten a few questions in there that the White House press wanted, and they guessed on it, but I don't think it's symphotic at all. I think there were some tough questions about his age. He's got to answer those questions, but I get real concerned as a lawyer when I hear criticisms politically and from the press about his age. Donald Trump is 77. Ronald Reagan was older. They all use cheat sheets. Listen, I'm 60 years old. I'm a former managing partner of a large law firm. I use notes to get it right. I was head of the Democratic Party, head of the D.C. Chamber of Commerce.
I mean, look, Scott, you keep going back to notes.
Want to get it right.
I don't have a disagreement with notes, but the fact that the question was almost verbatim to the question that the reporter asked, this isn't some Jedi mind trick.
Those were notes.
Those were not notes. It's clear, and the Los Angeles Times can say whatever they want, and I have friends who write for them. I like the writings, like the reporting. But there's no way in the world it was that verbatim coincidence. With that said, though, you mentioned Donald Trump. Bernie Sanders is about the same age as Joe Biden. Yeah. People age differently, Scott. Biden will be 86 years old at the end of his second term.
Notes too, and so did Donald
Notes
Trump.
Are not the same as the same question verbatim. You keep going back to that, Scott. Acknowledge it.
Biden for that.
No, I wasn't. I was blaming.
Well, I'm blaming Biden to the fact that he
shouldn't run because he's too old. I wish you both a wonderful.
He's more effective as an older presidential candidate than he was by being younger.
A wonderful White House Correspondents' Weekend, otherwise known as Nerd Prom here, which I will not be attending.
Thank you.
I gotta go.
Thank you.
Check your notes. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.